The email pings on my phone, just as the string quartet strikes up another Vivaldi piece. The notes sharp and bright in the glittering haze of Lila's engagement party. I'm standing by the dessert table, clutching the key to my apartment so hard it's carving a crescent into my palm when I see it. A notification from the wedding website I set up for Lila and Ethan. My thumb hesitates, then taps. The screen loads, and there it is, under the event team tab, Lila's support crew. My name's gone, replaced with event assistant, not attending, not Mara, not even my last name. Just a placeholder like I'm a temp who didn't make the cut. I stare at the words, the champagne flutes and fairy lights blurring around me. Lila's laughter floats over from the dance floor, where she's twirling in her ivory dress, Ethan's hand on her waist. Mom and Dad are at the head table, their faces glowing like they've won something precious. I planned this night caterer's venue, the quartet that's probably costing more than my rent. I spent weeks on the seating chart, negotiated with florists, even paid the deposit when Lila's card got declined. But my name erased, like I was never here. I'm Mara, the older sister, the one who's been stitching this family together since I was 14, forging Mom's signature on bills to keep the heat on while she sobbed over Dad's late meetings that reeked of someone else's perfume. Lila was 10, pirouetting in her ballet costume, unaware I'd sold my skateboard to buy her leotard. That's been the script Lila dreams I make it happen. And tonight, standing in this room full of people who don't see me, I feel like I'm disappearing. The key in my hand is my lifeline, the one thing tethering me to something real. My apartment, a 5th floor walk-up with peeling paint and a window that faces a brick wall, is the first thing I ever claimed for myself. I think back to the day I signed the lease, rain pouring so hard, my sneakers squelched my duffel bag soaked through. I stood in the empty living room, dripping wet, and laughed. Not because it was perfect, but because it was mine. For the first time, I didn't need anyone's permission to walk through a door. I didn't have to ask Mom if I could stay out late, or Dad if I could borrow the car, or Lila if she needed me to fix something. That key was freedom hard-won with double shifts at the library and late nights editing manuscripts. But tonight, it feels like a cruel joke, because here I am, still trapped in their orbit, still saying yes, when every fiber of me wants to scream no. The matron catches my eye, waving me over with a panicked look. The dessert course is short. Someone miscounted the profiteroles. I'm halfway to the kitchen, already mentally rationing pastries, when Lila's voice slices through the chatter. Mara. Oh, thank God I need you. She's weaving through the crowd, Ethan trailing behind her engagement ring, flashing like a spotlight. The photographer's threatening to leave early, unless we pay extra for overtime. You're so good with this stuff, can you fix it? I stop the key, biting into my palm. Ethan avoids my gaze, staring at the floor like it's a puzzle he can't solve. He's nice enough, but he's already learned the family playbook. When there's a problem, Mara's the answer. Lila. I say, my voice steadier than I feel I'm handling the desserts. Can't you or Ethan deal with the photographer? Her eyes widen like I've just asked her to rewrite the laws of physics. But you're way better at negotiating. Please, Mara, it's my night. I can't stress about this. She grabs my arm, her nails pressing just enough to make it clear she's not asking. Mom materializes beside her, her perfume a cloud of jasmine and expectation. Mara, don't be difficult, she says, her voice honey-sweet but edged with steel. It's Lila's special moment. Just take care of it. It's the same tone she used when I was 17, begging for a weekend writing retreat, only to hear they couldn't afford it, because Lila needed a new easel for her artistic phase. I want to say no. I want to fling the key across the room and walk out, leaving their chaos behind. But their eyes, Lila's pleading, Mom's commanding, even Dad's distant nod from the table, are heavier than the key in my hand. I've been carrying their weight so long, I don't know how to let go. Fine, I mutter, pulling free from Lila's grip. I'll handle it. I find the photographer a guy named Leo with a tired expression and a half-packed camera bag. $150 for every hour past 10, he says, barely looking up. Cash or card up front? I don't have $150, and I know Lila and Ethan are tapped out. They spent their budget on this overblown party. But I also know what happens if I don't fix this. Lila's tears. Mom's icy disappointment. Dad's quiet. We're counting on you, Mara. So I do what I always do. I pull out my emergency credit card, the one I swore I'd only use for real crises, and hand it over. Stay, I say, my voice flat. I'll cover it. Leo swipes the card, and I feel another piece of myself chip away. I've just bought Lila another perfect moment, another chance to shine while I fade into the background. I slip the key back into my pocket, its sharp edges grounding me, and head to the bar. I need something to numb the ache that's been growing for years, the one that whispers, I'll never be more than their safety net. That's when I overhear Mom talking to Aunt Carol by the cake stand. Mara's a blessing, she's saying, her voice warm with pride. She always knows how to make things work. We'd be lost without her. Aunt Carol nods, but her eyes hold something softer, sadder. She's amazing, but doesn't she ever get to live for herself? When's her turn? Mom laughs a sound like breaking glass. Oh, Mara's fine. She's not like Lila. She doesn't need the spotlight. She's happy being there for us. Happy. The word lands like a punch. I grip the key, my knuckles white. They don't see me. They never have. To them, I'm a tool, a pair of hands to fix their messes, not a person with dreams or a life of my own. And the worst part, I've let them. I've said yes every time, thinking love meant sacrifice, thinking family meant giving until there's nothing left. But standing here, watching Lila dance and Mom preen, I realize I've been sacrificing the wrong thing, me. I'm about to slip away when Lila's voice booms through the microphone. Everyone, I have an announcement. The room hushes, all eyes on her radiant glow. Ethan and I are moving up the wedding. 3 months from now, we'll be married. The crowd cheers, but my stomach twists. I know what's coming. Lila's eyes lock onto mine, her smile wide and expectant, the same one she used when she was 6 and wanted my last cookie. And I know my incredible sister Mara will make it the best day ever. Right, sis. The room turns to me, applause, crashing like a wave. Mom's nodding, Dad's raising his glass, and Lila's waiting, certain. I'll say yes, certain. I'll keep playing my part. The key in my pocket burns a reminder of the rainy day I stood in my empty apartment, laughing through the storm. That was the day I promised myself a life that was mine. And for the first time, I feel that promise stirring, refusing to be silenced. I don't nod. I don't smile. I just stand there, the key, my only anchor, and let the silence scream. The dining room in my parents' house smells like lavender candles, and tension, the kind that makes your skin itch. It's been 4 days since Lila's engagement party, and I'm sitting at the polished oak table, the key to my apartment heavy in my jacket pocket. Mom's across from me, her manicured nails tapping the table like a metronome. Dad's at the head, staring into his coffee mug, like it holds the answers to world peace. Lila's next to Ethan, her eyes red, but dry, her hands twisting a napkin into knots. They called this a family meeting, but it feels more like an ambush. Mom starts, her voice smooth but sharp the way it gets, when she's trying to guilt me into compliance. We need to talk about what happened at the party. You upset Lila. You upset all of us. She glances at Lila, who sniffles on cue, right on script. I lean back, the key, grounding me, its edges pressing through the fabric of my pocket. What happened, I say, keeping my voice even as I said no. For once. Lila's head snaps up, her mouth opening like she's about to protest, but Mom cuts her off. No, Mara, this isn't just about you saying no. You humiliated your sister in front of everyone. She's a wreck. She can't plan this wedding without you. You know how she gets overwhelmed, emotional. You're the only one who can keep her calm. I almost laugh, but it catches in my throat, bitter and jagged. The only one. That's been my role since I was a kid, smoothing over Lila's tantrums, fixing her messes, making sure her world stays perfect while mine crumbles. I think about the email from the wedding website, my name erased, replaced with event assistant, not attending. I think about the rainy day I signed my lease, standing in my empty apartment, laughing because I was finally free. That Mara's still here, and she's done playing savior. I'm not her therapist. I say, my voice steady but firm. Or her wedding planner. Lila's 25. She's getting married. She can handle it. Ethan shifts uncomfortably, his eyes flicking to Lila, who's now dabbing at her eyes with the napkin. Dad clears his throat, his voice soft, pleading. Mara, honey, we're family. We help each other. Lila needs you. You've always been so good at what I cut him off, my voice sharper than I mean it to be. Good at giving up my life so Lila can have hers. Good at paying for her dreams while I work double shifts. Good at being invisible until you need something. The words spill out years of resentment breaking free. The key in my pocket feels like a pulse urging me to keep going. Mom's eyes narrow, her tapping nails stilling. That's unfair, Mara. We've all made sacrifices. Lila's worked hard, too. Worked hard, I laugh, a raw, hollow sound. Lila's had everything handed to her. Art school trips, this engagement party I planned and paid for. I sold my skateboard to buy her ballet shoes when I was 14, Mom. I worked through high school so you could afford her supplies. When's the last time she sacrificed anything for me? Lila's sobbing now, her face buried in Ethan's shoulder. He pats her back, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. You're jealous, she chokes out, her voice muffled but venomous. You've always been jealous because I'm living my life, and you're just stuck. Jealous. The word stings, but it's old, worn out from years of being thrown at me whenever I dared want something for myself. I shake my head, almost pitying her. I'm not jealous, Lila. I'm tired. Tired of being your crutch. Tired of being the one who fixes everything while you get to shine. Mom slams her hand on the table, the candles flickering. Enough. This is not how we do things in this family. You will help your sister Mara. You don't get to walk away because you're having some tantrum. I stand my chair, scraping against the floor. The key in my pocket is my anchor, reminding me of the life I've built, the one they've never seen. I reach into my bag and pull out a folder, the contract for a wedding planner I found online. One I've already paid the initial deposit for with my own money I was saving for a writing course. I slide it across the table to Lila. Here, I say, my voice calm but unyielding. I hired a planner. Her name's Vanessa. She's good. You and Ethan can take it from here. Lila stares at the folder like it's a bomb. Ethan blinks, confused. Mom's mouth opens, then closes her face, a mask of disbelief. Dad finally looks up, his eyes wide. Mara, he says you didn't have to. I did. I interrupt, my gaze steady. Because I'm done. Lila's your daughter too. Help her yourself. I turn to leave, the keys wait, a quiet promise in my pocket. I'm almost at the door when Mom's voice stops me cold and cutting. You think you can just walk away, she says. You're not the only one who's made sacrifices, Mara. That house you're so proud of, it's still in your name. Don't forget who helped you get there. I freeze my hand on the doorknob. The house, my apartment. My mind races, but I don't turn back. What are you talking about? I ask, my voice low, a warning. Mom smirks, like she's won something. Ask your father. He handled the paperwork. Dad shifts, his face pale, but he doesn't meet my eyes. Mara, it's not. We'll talk later. Let's not do this now. My stomach twists, a seed of doubt taking root. The key in my pocket feels heavier, like it's carrying a question I don't want to answer. I don't say another word. I walk out the door, clicking shut behind me, and drive back to my apartment in silence. The city lights blur through the windshield, but all I can think about is Dad's averted gaze, Mom's smirk, and the house, my house, that might not be as mine as I thought. When I get home, I lock the door, the key's familiar click steadying my shaking hands. My phone buzzes with a text from Dad. Don't be like this, Mara. We can work this out. That house is still yours. Mostly. The word mostly lands like a stone in my gut. I set the phone face down and pour a glass of wine, the key on the counter glinting under the kitchen light. I think about the day I moved in rain-soaked and laughing, believing I'd finally escaped their strings. Now, I'm not so sure. I open my laptop and start searching for the lease agreement, my heart pounding. Something's wrong, and the key, the one thing I thought was mine, might not be enough to protect me. But as I scroll through old emails, one thing is clear. I'm not going back. Not to their table, not to their script, not to the Mara who says yes. The key in my hand is still my promise, and I'm not letting go. The fluorescent lights in my apartment hum softly as I sit at the kitchen table, surrounded by a mess of old paperwork I've pulled from a box under my bed. The key to my apartment rests beside my laptop, its gleam a quiet reminder of the freedom I thought I'd claimed. It's been 2 days since the family meeting at my parents' house and Dad's cryptic text. That house is still yours. Mostly has been gnawing at me like a splinter I can't dig out. Mom's smirk. Dad's averted eyes, the way they dangled my apartment over me like a threat. It's all too familiar, another string they've tied to keep me in line. But this time, I'm not just hurt. I'm angry. And I'm digging. I start with the lease agreement, the one I signed on that rainy day 4 years ago, laughing through the storm. The document looks legit, my signature, the landlord's, the terms clear as day. But Mom's words, ask your father. He handled the paperwork, keep circling in my head. Dad's always been the one to handle things. Bills, taxes, the family's endless crises. I trusted him. I was 25, juggling 2 jobs, too exhausted to question the fine print. Now, I'm not so sure that was wise. I open my laptop and log into my bank account, scrolling through old transactions. Nothing jumps out until I check my credit report, something I haven't done in years. My heart stops. There's a loan I don't recognize, a $20,000 home improvement line of credit opened 3 years ago, tied to my name and my apartment's address. The lender's a local bank, the kind Dad's always used for his business deals. My hands shake as I click through the details. Payments are 6 months overdue, and a collection notice was sent last week to my address, but I never saw it. Someone's been intercepting my mail. I dig deeper, pulling out a folder of old tax documents Dad helped me file. Tucked inside is a loan application, my name and social security number neatly typed. But the signature isn't mine. It's close, a practiced forgery. But the loop on the M is wrong, too sharp, like Dad's handwriting when he's in a rush. I feel sick, not just betrayed, but violated. My apartment, my key, the one thing I thought was mine, they used it as collateral for a loan. I didn't know about a loan they couldn't pay back. My phone buzzes, and I flinch. It's Dad calling. I let it go to voicemail, my pulse pounding in my ears. When the notification pings, I play the message, his voice low and urgent. Mara, it's me. Look, I got a notice from the bank today. They're saying the loan's in default, and it's under your name. I can explain. We needed the money to fix the house, and your credit was better. Please call me back. We can't lose everything. I delete the message, my hands steady. Now the anger crystallizing into something cold and clear. We can't lose everything. Not you, not I. We, like I'm still part of their mess. Like my life is just collateral for their mistakes. I think about the years I spent scraping by, working nights at the library, editing manuscripts, until my eyes burned all to keep my apartment my one piece of freedom. And they took it, used it, without even asking. I open my email and start drafting a message to the bank's fraud department, attaching a scan of the loan application and a photo of my real signature from the lease. My words are precise, professional, but inside, I'm screaming. To whom it may concern, I am disputing a fraudulent loan opened in my name. I did not authorize this transaction. Please transfer full liability to the original signer. I pause, then add one final line. I request immediate action to remove my name from this account. I hit send, my heart racing, but not with fear, with resolve. The key on the table catches the light, and I pick it up, running my thumb over its ridges. I think about the day I moved in rain-soaked, and laughing, believing I'd escaped their strings. Now I see the truth: they never let me go. They just found new ways to tie me down, but this time I'm cutting the ropes. The next morning I'm at the library shelving books when Priya corners me by the fiction section. "You look like you're plotting a heist," she says, half joking, her eyes sharp. "What's going on?" I hesitate, then tell her everything: the loan, the forgery, the email to the bank. Her jaw drops, but she doesn't interrupt, just listens, her hand resting on a copy of The Bell Jar. When I'm done, she shakes her head. "Your dad? That's messed up, Mara. What are you gonna do?" "I'm protecting myself," I say, my voice low but firm. "They don't get to use me anymore." She nods, her expression fierce. "Good. You're not their ATM. And if they try anything else, I know a guy who knows a lawyer." She winks, but I can tell she's serious. For the first time, I feel like I'm not alone in this fight. That afternoon, I get a response from the bank, a form email confirming they've received my dispute and will investigate. It's not a victory, not yet, but it's a step. I save the email and close my laptop, my eyes catching the flyer for the writing workshop still pinned to my fridge. I haven't signed up. $300 is a lot when you're fighting to keep your credit intact. But Priya's words from last week echo in my head. "When's the last time you let yourself chase that?" I pull out my phone and open the workshop website, my finger hovering over the register button. The keys in my pocket, its weight a quiet encouragement. I think about the girl who used to write poems in the margins of her notebooks, who dreamed of a life bigger than fixing other people's messes. She's still there, and she's tired of waiting. I click register, enter my card details, and hit submit. The confirmation email pings, and I exhale, a small smile breaking through the anger that's been simmering for days. That night, I sit at my kitchen table, the key beside a glass of wine, and open an old notebook. The pages are filled with half-finished stories, fragments of a life I thought I'd lost. I start writing, not for Lila, not for Mom or Dad, but for me, a poem about a woman who burns the strings that bind her and builds a door from the ashes. The words come slowly, but they're mine, and that's enough. My phone buzzes again. Another text from Dad. "Mara, please. We need to talk. The bank's calling me tomorrow." I don't reply. I don't need to. The key in my hand is my answer, a promise I made to myself on a rainy day 4 years ago. They can't take it from me. Not my apartment, not my future, not the woman I'm becoming. I lock the door, the click loud in the quiet, and keep writing. The library's quiet hum wraps around me like a shield, the scent of old books and polished wood grounding me as I shelve a stack of novels. It's been a week since I sent the email to the bank, disputing the fraudulent loan tied to my name. The key to my apartment is in my pocket, its familiar weight, a reminder of the boundaries I'm fighting to hold. I've started the writing workshop, and last night I read a poem about a woman who carves her own path from stone. It felt like a declaration, a step toward the Mara I've always wanted to be. But the shadow of my family's betrayal lingers, a weight I can't quite shake. I'm reshelving To Kill a Mockingbird when Priya appears, her expression tense. "Mara, you've got a visitor," she says, nodding toward the break room. "It's Lila." My stomach twists. I haven't seen her since the family meeting, haven't answered her texts, or the voicemails that started apologetic but turned desperate. I want to say no, to keep the door I've built locked tight, but something in Priya's eyes, concern maybe, or curiosity, makes me nod. "Okay," I say, slipping the book into place. "I'll talk to her." Lila's standing by the vending machine, clutching a paper coffee cup, her hair in a loose braid that makes her look younger, almost fragile. Her eyes are shadowed, no trace of the radiant bride-to-be from the engagement party. When she sees me, Her face softens, a hesitant smile flickering. "Mara," she says like my name's a lifeline. "Can we sit?" I lead her to a corner table, the key heavy in my pocket, a silent reminder that I don't have to let her in. "What do you want, Lila?" I ask, my voice calm but guarded. She sets the cup down, her hands fidgeting. I wanted to see you. To talk. Really talk." She pauses, her eyes searching mine. "I've been thinking about what you said at Mom and Dad's. About how I've taken you for granted. I didn't see it before, Mara. I thought you liked helping. You're so good at it, you know? Like you always made everything work." I feel a flash of anger, but it's tempered by exhaustion. "Good at it," I say, my voice low. "Lila, I didn't have a choice. You, Mom, Dad, you all made me the one who fixes everything. I wasn't helping because I wanted to. I was helping because I had to, because no one else would step up. And it cost me. My time, my dreams, my life." Her eyes well up, and for a moment I see the little girl who used to crawl into my bed during storms begging for stories. "I didn't know," she says, her voice cracking. "I swear I didn't know it was like that for you. I thought you were okay, that you were stronger than me." "Stronger?" I shake my head, the word tasting like ash. "Being strong doesn't mean I don't hurt. It doesn't mean I don't want things for myself. You got to chase your art, your wedding, your life. I was too busy making sure you could." She wipes her eyes, smearing mascara. "I'm sorry, Mara. I want to fix it. I want us to be sisters again." She reaches into her bag and pulls out something small, metallic, glinting in the library's dim light. It's a key, an old tarnished one, the spare to my childhood bedroom, the one I gave her when I moved out at 18, so she'd always have a place to go if she needed me. "I kept this," she says, her voice trembling. "I thought, if you ever forgot home, I'd be there to remind you. I thought it meant something." I stare at the key, memories flooding back. Lila at 10, clutching it like a treasure, promising she'd visit me every weekend. She never did. The key became another symbol of my role, the one who waits, who holds space, who gives. My throat tightens, but I don't reach for it. "It did mean something," I say, my voice steady. "Back then. But I don't need anyone to keep my home for me anymore. I've built my own." I slide the key back across the table, my fingers brushing its cold surface. Lila's face crumples, but she doesn't pick it up. "I don't know how to do this without you," she whispers. "The wedding, Ethan. Everything, it's falling apart. Mom and Dad are fighting about money, and I need you." Her words tug at me, the old instinct to fix, to save rising like a reflex. But the key in my pocket, the one to my apartment, anchors me. I think about the loan Dad forged, the years I spent carrying their weight. The poem I wrote last night, about a woman who chooses herself. "Lila," I say, my voice soft but unyielding. "You don't need me. You need to figure out who you are when I'm not there to catch you. And I need to figure out who I am when I'm not carrying you." She nods, tears spilling over, and stands, leaving the old key on the table. "I love you, Mara," she says, her voice breaking. "I hope you know that." I don't say it back. I can't not yet. I just watch her go, her braids swinging as she disappears through the library doors. The key she left behind sits there, small and heavy, with memories I'm not ready to revisit. I pick it up, not to keep, but to set it aside, tucking it into a drawer when I get home. It's not mine anymore. That evening, I get an email from the bank. They've reviewed my dispute and found evidence of fraud. The loan's been removed from my name, transferred back to Dad's. A weight lifts, but it's not relief, it's clarity. They can't touch my apartment, my key, my life. Not anymore. At the writing workshop, I share a new poem, one I wrote after Lila's visit. It's about a woman who returns a key to a house she no longer calls home, choosing a new door instead. The room is quiet when I finish, and Sarah, my friend from the group, smiles. "That's you, Mara," she says. "You're finding your way." Priya texts me later, demanding details about Lila's visit. "You okay?" she asks. Did she try to guilt trip you? I reply, I'm okay. I gave her key back. She sends a string of fist bump emojis, and I laugh, feeling lighter than I have in weeks. I sit at my kitchen table, the key to my apartment beside my notebook, and write. Not for Lila, not for the family I've left behind, but for me. The words are raw, jagged, but they're mine. A story about a woman who locks one door to open another. As I write, I realize I'm not just reclaiming my apartment or my credit. I'm reclaiming myself. The community center's meeting room buzzes with the nervous energy of a dozen teenagers, their notebooks open, pens tapping like a scattered heartbeat. I stand at the front, holding the key to my apartment. Its familiar weight, a quiet anchor. It's been 8 months since I walked out of Lila's engagement party, 6, since I uncovered Dad's forged loan, and 3 since I returned Lila's old key. Today, I'm not Mara the fixer, not the sister who sacrifices, but Mara the writer, the volunteer, the woman who's learned to hold her own door open. I'm leading my first creative writing class for teens, and the air feels alive with possibility. Everyone has a key, I say, raising mine, so the light catches its edges. Not to someone else's house, not to someone else's dreams, but to the door that's yours. The one that leads to who you are when no one's asking you to be anything else. The kids lean forward, some scribbling, others watching me with wide eyes. I think about the girl I was at their age, writing poems in secret, selling my skateboard to buy Lila's ballet shoes. I wish someone had told her she didn't have to give up her key. The class is a mix of kids like Aisha, who lingers after every session, her braids swinging, as she asks questions about writing and dreams. Today, she's the last to pack up her notebook, clutched like a shield. Miss Mara, she says, her voice soft. My mom keeps saying, writing's a hobby, not a future. But you're doing it. How'd you know it was worth it? I smile, tucking the key into my pocket. I didn't at first. I spent years putting other people's needs before mine, thinking that's what love meant. But love doesn't ask you to disappear. It took me a long time to find my key, to believe my dreams mattered. You've got yours, Aisha. Don't let anyone take it. She nods, her eyes bright, and slips a folded paper into my hand, a poem about a girl who plants her own garden. I read it later, and it's raw, honest, the kind of writing that cuts straight to the heart. I text her, keep this, it's yours. I know what it's like to need someone to believe in you, and I'm determined to be that for her. The literary journal with my poem came out last month. My name in print, a quiet triumph on my coffee table. Sarah and Elena, my workshop friends, threw me a small celebration at our usual coffee shop, toasting with lattes and bad puns about unlocking my potential. Priya's still my cheerleader at the library, slipping me coffee and demanding I submit my novella to a contest. You're a badass, Mara, she says, tossing me a pen like it's a torch. Light it up. My family's a different story, one I'm still learning to read. Lila's wedding happened a month ago. I didn't go. Not out of spite, but because I couldn't step back into the role they'd written for me. The one who fixes who fades. Lila sent a photo afterward, her in a simple white dress, Ethan beside her, both smiling but subdued. A note was tucked inside. I missed you, but I understand. I'm trying to stand on my own. I kept the note not as a promise, but as a reminder that she's learning even if it's late. Mom and Dad haven't reached out. Aunt Carol told me Mom's still bitter, calling me selfish, while Dad's quieter, carrying a guilt he doesn't know how to voice. The bank cleared my name from the loan, and Dad's dealing with the fallout, late payments, collection calls. I don't know the details, and I don't ask. Their mess isn't mine anymore. The real shift came last week, not from them, but from me. I was cleaning out a drawer and found the old key Lila gave me, the spare to my childhood bedroom. It felt heavy, not with memory, but with the weight of a life I'd outgrown. I set it on my kitchen table next to the key to my apartment and realized they didn't belong together. The old key opened a door to a house where I was never seen, never enough. The new one, my key, opens a life I've built brick by brick, word by word. I walk to the library after class, my new library card in my wallet. Its surface engraved with my name, Mara Ellis. It's not just a card, it's a symbol like the key of the freedom I've claimed, not just to a place, but to my mind, my words, my future. I flash it at the librarian, who grins. New card, huh? Looks good on you. I smile, feeling its weight in my hand, light but solid. That night, I'm back at the community center, setting up for the next class. Aisha lingers again, her notebook under her arm. Miss Mara, she says, hesitating, do you ever forgive them? The people who made you feel like you didn't matter? I pause, the key in my pocket, the library card in my bag, both reminders of the doors I've opened. I think about Lila's note, Dad's silence, Mom's anger. I think about the years I gave the dreams I buried, the woman I'm becoming. I don't hold their keys anymore. I say, my voice steady. I don't hate them, Aisha, but I won't hand over mine again. Forgiveness isn't about letting them back in. It's about letting yourself move on. She nods like she's tucking the words away and leaves with a small smile. I finish setting up the room, quiet now, the key glinting as I set it on the table beside my notes. I open my notebook, the leather-bound one I bought with Lila's repayment, and write a final poem for the class. It's about a woman who trades old keys for new ones, not to lock others out, but to let herself in. I gave you my keys thinking they were spare, watched you build while I stood bare. But I forged my own, sharp and bright, and opened a door to my own light. I don't know if I'll ever sit across from Lila again, or if Mom and Dad will see me as more than their safety net. But I know this. I've lost the family that demanded I be less. And I've found one that sees me, Priya, Sarah, Elena, Aisha. The kids who write their truths, because I've shown them mine. As I lock the community center door, the key to my apartment clicks softly, a sound that's no longer just a promise, but a vow. My story is mine, and I'm writing it one open door at a time.